For the 5 o'clock hour. EcoView Windows and Doors. Next up here on the show, Becky Jackson and her whole team over there, ready to button you up. If you're just not sleeping, if you're not comfortable at night, you keep cranking the air down, something's not right. Could just be leaky windows. In addition to the heat, there's the humidity this time of the year, and boy, there's nothing more uncomfortable than a muggy house when you're trying to sleep. When you get the efficiency fixed on your house with these double pane windows, or in some cases triple pane windows, man, you're not only saving on your power bills, you're reducing the load and the stress on your heating and air system, which eventually you'll pay for. It's a mechanical system and it has to be serviced, and it's going to wear out. So you're wearing out your heating and air, and you're spending too much money on your power bills. It's just all down to your windows. Let EcoView button that up for you. They've got the best products in the industry, and they'll come out and show off exactly what they can do for you. Count up everything, measure everything, give you an honest estimate. And when you're ready for the install, one of the biggest compliments I get about EcoView is the way they work when they show up. That's because Becky, from the beginning, went out and said they're going to hire the best installers in the business, and just keep them happy and keep them working. And that works for all of us. They come, they're clean, they're quick, they're efficient, they're in and out. Your house is beautiful. You can open and close those windows again. Some of y'all got painted shut windows. You can't close them at all. It's ecoviewwindows.com, ecoviewwindows.com. Y'all reach out to them and let them come show you what they can do for you to get all that stuff straightened out on your home. Back to the Fauci story for a minute. And we're just going to dive right into it this hour. We will blow it open for phone calls if y'all want to get in here the last hour with anything outside of what we're talking about now. We're not really stuck on one topic today. It's a pretty loose day here on the show. But Rand Paul is out now with the language for a resolution that he's going to put forward in front of the Senate to hold Fauci in contempt of Congress for his behavior in the last session that they had, where he kept pleading the fifth. Now, look, this is a stretch, but I think I see Paul can be an ideologue. He can certainly kind of freestyle that way a lot of times. It's kind of what he's known for. But I think I see where he's going with this, and I picked up on this last week. I think we might have mentioned it. But so a contempt vote, and I can't remember. I don't think they voted this out of committee yet, but it's supposed to go before the full Senate. So they got to get it out of committee. Then they have to go to the full Senate. It's going to take 60 votes because, like everything else, the Democrats are going to filibuster and run interference to protect Fauci. Contempt of Congress just means there's this duplicity right now that although Fauci has a pardon that covers a time period, which, by the way, many of you know by now with the reporting, goes back to his first funding of this gain of function research in China and in other places. This guy, despite even the Obama administration telling him to knock it off, kept using third-party cutouts and other agencies to get this money overseas to continue this Frankenstein research, which eventually made a lot of people sick and was a contributor to a lot of calamity, obviously. So it wasn't just the lies that he told to us about how to react to it. It was the fact that he was part of the origin of this whole thing and was covering his own ass the whole time. So the pardon goes back 10 years. It can only cover the crimes in that period, and it can't apply to states that may want to bring some kind of state charges. And obviously it doesn't apply to any kind of further perjury that Fauci would do in front of Congress, for example. So in a way, Fauci, even though he's got this pardon, he's in a box, because if he answers truthfully, he's going to expose previous perjury, which he technically would be covered for. If he lies, because now they got his diary and they got the other stuff they had to trap him with, he could create a perjury standard for himself, thus being charged. But contempt is something different. It's just the refusal of the witness to participate in the hearing and in the lawful investigative powers that Congress has to get to the bottom of things like public health policy. Now, so tries not to get too tangled up. I believe what Rand Paul's doing here, because I'm doubtful this could pass the Senate. I really am. I think they're trying to test Fauci's pardon in the first place. It was under dubious conditions. We believe the auto pen was used. It was very weird how that pardon came across along with Hunter Biden's pardon. They were kind of done, and the logic behind them was very, very similar. So I believe that he's trying to get a contempt vote out there so there's something actionable that can then potentially be used by the Justice Department to further go into a court setting in order to potentially get Fauci's pardon tossed. Let's keep exploring that. So you can't just decide. The Justice Department hasn't moved in that direction, which, by the way, Todd Blanche just got confirmed today from the Judiciary Committee to become the next full-time AG. I think that's back on track now. Some of the Republican rhinos had to get over themselves. They're pretending had points of particular interest against Blanche. They were just being butthurt like Cornyn because he got his ass kicked. So back to the Senate. So I'm still not under any illusion they're going to get 60 votes. But if they were to, there's something actionable here as opposed to justice just trying to dig into that particular pardon, because the pardon story is huge. The aspects of who authorized the auto pen or didn't, all that's so cloudy and nebulous, and I couldn't begin to address what law would apply there. But if you created a conflict, and that's what courts take up, that's what Supreme Court likes to take up, compelling competing sides when there's a constitutional issue, and this presents itself that way. You've got contempt of Congress potentially. You've got a lack of accountability from a person who was given a pardon that could have waived their Fifth Amendment rights and given the public what the public needed, but the witness won't allow it because he's in this quandary. And you've got other states that are now digging into this and trying to get creative. Florida was one of the first up. I think Alabama's in on this party to start looking at the misdirection and the obfuscation that Fauci committed during that time period led the public health officials in some of these states to do harmful things. There was harm that can be demonstrated in those states based on the guidance coming from Fauci, even though Fauci may not have ordered a state to close schools, for example, or churches or whatever happened in each state. But his guidance was the information that was intentionally deceiving, was the information used to do those things. They're trying through a series of stretches to try to draw him into a state case upon which the pardon wouldn't be considered. So it's complex. I like that they're after him. I like that the final days of this dude's life, he's got to look over his shoulder for the harm that he caused in the world. And some of these governors and AGs will be aggressive about it, some not so much. But what a mess that we created back then. And by the way, I mentioned this earlier, and I want to get on the phones. How dare the American left lecture everybody else that it's time to get over Fauci and COVID, and that was years ago, and water under the bridge. Now, to some degree, that's correct because of the statutes of limitation in states and in the federal government. Gosh, it's been over 6 years now for some of the stuff that he did. Even further, if you go back to 2014. So that's going to complicate things as well. But the American left pretending like we should just get over it and move on. Do they get over it and move on when they've got something that they're grieved over, like, I don't know, January 6th, as fake as all that stuff was? Other issues that happen that they want to exploit, like one of these purple-haired nose ring nut jobs goes out and picks a fight with an ICE agent and winds up getting shot. They try to run over an ICE agent. Do they drop it? No, they keep moving with it as long as there's something they can gain or learn or capitalize on. And that's the history of politics. There's stuff that goes back 400 years that they're still talking about. They're still trying to they're trying to rewrite our entire history back to 1619. What a bunch of a-holes. They cherry pick all these causes, and then when it's something of importance, the most consequential event in my lifetime was COVID. Period. I don't even think it's close. Yeah, we saw the space shuttle blow up and we had things happen in history. It was the most consequential thing for the world. It's still having an effect on everything we do to this day. And this guy was absolutely at the epicenter of all of it. And there needs to be accountability for him and the scarf lady and everybody else that worked for him. Steve is on line one. Let's do some phone calls. I promised y'all phone calls. What's up, Steve?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Two things. Phil is a total jerk, and that's all I wanted to say about that. But because of you, I've been listening about 5, 6, 7 years, and I've been listening about Crocker Services for quite a while. Anyway, I'm moving from Pleasant Grove to Lakeview, and I called them today, talked to Jessica, and she was very polite, took all my information down, said she would get me an estimate within 15 or 20 minutes. I had a text with the estimate, and I had an email with the estimate within 20 minutes, and they knocked the other two I'd already got a price from out of the water.
Oh, good.
And anyway, she asked me, she said, how did I find out about Crocker Services? And I said, I listen to Leland every day, Leland Live. And anyway, that's all I had to say to you about that.
Well, I'm glad they,
Thank you.
and so they haven't done the project for you yet. They've just given you a good price.
No, I'm moving on the 29th, and
Okay.
it was my initial call. But yeah, they're going to. It's already tentatively set up for the 29th, and they're going to get my business, and it's all because you saved me money and didn't even know. You don't even know me.
Well, no, look, man, that's wonderful. That's why we have them on, and call me back and let me know how good they do, because I'm telling you, in addition to their pricing, they're just really, really good at what they do when it comes to moving your stuff. So I wish you the best of luck on all that, Steve.
Well, thank you very much. And she said that they'd send 3 people and a truck and
Yep.
take care of all my needs. And I said, okay, that's great. That's all I needed to hear. And
That's
but
great, man.
Thanks for you and AJ for turning me on to Crocker Moving Services, and I'll let you know after the 29th how it went.
All right. I love that. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. By the way, that was completely unsolicited. I never get people to call in like that. But some of our advertisers are so good at what they do that they got to call and brag, and I get it all the time, especially with Crocker. People love that company. It's so nice not to have to do that crap yourself, man. Man, let's, I tell you what, let me talk to y'all about Mandu, and then we'll get the break in here and take more of your calls. Whatever y'all got on your mind, bring it. 545-9950 is the phone number. Mandu is a very different experience if you've never done it. Let me see if I can take you back to I'm going to take you back to Genesis and tell you the whole story, right? So this is electronic muscle stimulation. The way Paul tells it, some researcher in Europe years ago decided that, the TIMS machine that you'll use if you have an injury, and they'll put it on and it'll twitch your muscles. So if you're in a cast or in a brace, your muscles don't atrophy. You want to keep the strength up, but you can't move the arm. Well, that's a pretty genius thing. Somebody said, what if we did the whole body? What if you could strengthen the whole body with this kind of a little bit of an electrical impulse? So they created a suit. I don't know where they came up with the name Mandu, but dadgummit, if it doesn't work, it is different. When you go try it, it's different. It's a little weird. You put the suit on. By the way, you can go in whatever. I could go in what I'm wearing now. You don't have to dress for the gym and go through all that stuff you have to do at gyms. You get your own private dressing little booth, little room with a door. They give you a personal trainer. You get inside the undergarment, then they actually spray you down and put the oversuit over that. Looks like you're going scuba diving. And then they hook you to the machine. It's a 15-minute workout, and they tell you how to move and stretch and bend. And while you do that, the machine starts flexing your muscles for you. And you're like, whoa, this is out of control. Whoa. But then when you're done and you get through the workout, you realize how intense it is. You feel it all over. They say that it's equivalent to 6 hours in the gym. If the gyms aren't working, or maybe you've lost mobility, or you're at a place in life where it's just hard to get up and do the weight training, you got to keep your muscles up. You got to keep your strength up. It's a big part of longevity. Try Mandu. This could be a breakthrough. It's efficient. It's effective. And right now, Paul's offering 15% off anybody that wants to try Mandu between now and the end of September. Once you get the 15%, it's for the life of Mandu. As long as you stay on the program, they'll keep the 15% on your price. And the offer ends at the end of September. It's kind of a back-to-school offer. If you're an educator, if you're connected to the schools, support staff, even students. He said he'd throw that in there too. Back to school special at Mandu, downtown Homewood. They've got a location in Tuscaloosa, and they've got one in Huntsville too now as they continue to grow. See if this is what you're doing is not working. See if this is right for you, and they'll let you try it for free the first time. Mandu.com. Back here in just a minute. It's 524, Leland Live, talking 905. Blakely's Bouquets is over in Homewood. Y'all, you probably know somebody you need to send flowers to. When's the last time you sent flowers? Ask yourself that. If it's been a while, maybe it's time. Unexpected flowers are great. You know, the expected flowers are great. Either way, you need a good florist in your life. And for me, it's Blakely's. It's two names. You put Blake and Lee together, and you got Blakely'sBouquets.com. Simple enough. Now, they're hands-on. So if you're a flower person and you've got something special coming up with the holidays, a centerpiece you want done, or some big football thing going on, you want a color theme thing, they can absolutely sit down and work with you on that. Otherwise, If you just want to get some flower scent, their website is so intuitive, easy to use, especially I call myself a flower illiterate. I just don't know much about them. I can't describe flowers, but I can look at a picture, and I'm that simple. It's BlakeLeesBouquets.com. And fellas, my favorite part is they'll send you a confirmation text when the delivery's made. Then you know you can wait on that response because you're trying to let somebody know, and it's nice to surprise people. It's BlakeLeesBouquets.com. The name Blake and Lee, put them together. BlakeLeesBouquets.com. Here's our buddy Maria. She's got a traffic update, so we're going to bump her to the top. Maria's over on line 4. What's up, Maria?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well.
Good. Okay, when you're coming off of 459 northbound to get on 280 eastbound, you're curving to get on 280, the right lane is blocked. There is a tow truck there. They were just backing up to pick up a car, so that should be out of the way pretty soon. On the other side, heading westbound, is that Papa Do's? Is that restaurant that is there or still there?
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's still there,
That right lane is blocked because a car and like a delivery truck kind of tangled up. So there's a police officer there, ripped the bumper off of the vehicle, the truck did. So anyway, So the right lane's blocked, westbound at front of Papa Do's. The right lane is blocked, eastbound, right as you get off of 459 to head east on 280.
Well, that is good stuff. That's very comprehensive, Maria. We appreciate the, especially this time of the day in that neck of the woods right there on 280. Thanks, Maria. Westbound and eastbound lanes kind of caught up in some of that stuff. Is Hot Rod still there? Let's get Hot Rod in here on line 2. What's up, Hot Rod? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing good. I got a traffic report for Pickens County.
Okay.
Two eastbound log trucks and a westbound bass boat passed each other by my mailbox, and everybody just kept on trucking.
Okay, well, there's a Pickens County update. I like that.
Listen, do you think there's a statute of limitations on murder?
No, but murder is almost impossible to prescribe to Fauci.
What about his protocols? Because his protocols involved remdesivir, and he had a study under the NIH that showed that it killed 54% of the people in it by renal failure. And that's what he prescribed in the hospital while people were intubated and they were unconscious and they had fluids being pushed on them. So their kidneys failed. The next thing you know, they wind up with pleural effusions. It looks just like pneumonia.
Yeah.
How convenient, huh?
Look, I'm with you in spirit, but as the law, and I'm not trying to play Matlock over here or anything, but as the law applies, you'd have to establish some malice aforethought that he knew and the intent was to prescribe or guide people toward this treatment with the intent of killing people. The side effect of the treatment, and this is where a lot of federal employees get an immunity shield for doing their job. If people die, but they're doing the best job they can, you could argue, obviously, with Fauci. There's just this wall of separation and immunity and consequence and layers. It'd be hard to get a murder charge. But I see what you're saying. When it comes to direct, murder and homicide are different. There are different kinds of homicides that don't need to be intentional. Manslaughter may be a possible application here. Let's try to explore that.
Reckless manslaughter, reckless endangerment.
If you go off and drink too much at a bar and get in your car and run over a kid, your intent was not to get in your car that day to go kill this kid. You didn't know the kid, but the consequences of your reckless behavior led to a death. That's where the manslaughter statutes can kick in, and maybe there's something that could be pursued in that way. I'm doubtful, but I like the people being creative with it.
Yeah, what if the nurses and doctors were telling their uppers, their superiors, saying, "You're killing people with this. You are killing people," and they wouldn't listen? They had election to win.
Well, I mean, yeah, we're all aware of that, and they shielded the pharmaceuticals from suits. And criminal liability in some ways, which gives
fraud.
That gives a whole layer between Fauci and them. It's a mess, dude. It's a total mess.
If they were fraudulent with what they claim that safety-wise, I think they can be reopened.
Interesting stuff. All right, Hot Rod, I appreciate your contribution tonight. What are y'all's thoughts? 545-9950. If you want to get on, we got 30 more minutes. Back in a minute. It's 5:35, Leland Live. Let's bump on over and talk to Thomas over at Stockton Mortgage, see what's happening with them tonight. Thomas, how's it hanging over at Stockton, man?
Fantastic. Yeah, man, we're doing fantastic over here. Finished up a fantastic month last week and starting another new one. And we have a great class. We mentioned last week about having a homebuyers class, first-time homebuyers class, and that is tonight at 6 o'clock. It's an online class. It's on my Facebook page. If you go to my business page on Facebook, Thomas Dickinson, on Facebook, you can find that class. It starts at 6 o'clock. So anybody that's first-time home buyer or home buyers that's wants to know more information about, be teaching about all the different loan products and how to buy a home and just questions. You'll learn a lot more information than you want to know about the home buying process. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested, you can get on there and learn about that. But, man, we've had a fantastic week and month, and just want to thank all your listeners. Man, we are so blessed with your listeners and how much they trust us with their home buying needs and refinancing. We had a local firefighter last month that gave us a call that was they were looking to do some renovations, and we love doing renovation loans. And they needed to renovate their basement, wanted to do man cave, and so he gave us a call. And, they had that old dingy basement, and they wanted to completely gut it and put in man cave and put in, just some stuff for him, and then also for the kids, put in pool tables and like a little movie room and things for the kids. And so we were able to help them, and they wanted to put in a bathroom down there. So that's where a little more expense is going to run when you have to put in a bathroom. So we put in a bathroom and a shower down there, so when he comes in from working the yard and stuff, he can get down there and shower. So we were able to get that thing done for them. And, if anybody is looking to do renovation on their house, we have a fantastic product and a team. We have a specific team at our home office that all they do is construction and renovation products. And so we can handle it here, but we have an underwriting staff that all they do is renovation and construction. They are completely separate from our regular underwriting team, that all they do is renovation and construction. So we have a completely separate department that underwrites just our construction product, which is fantastic and unique to us. And we love doing those products. So if you're out there and you're looking to do either build a home or doing a renovation product, renovation to your home, give us a call. Let us sit down, work up a plan for you, 205-859-8859 or savewithstockton.com.
Savewithstockton.com. We appreciate you, Thomas. We'll talk to you tomorrow, my friend. All right, there's Thomas again, savewithstockton.com. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and give you my source. Our friend Marty Duncan, can you believe it's almost the holidays? We're going to have her on soon to talk about stuff. She and I need to get together on it. But she's out there in the mix of traffic and saying that there apparently was some kind of high, well, this is the description. Shelby County cars would just were heading down 280 in the Chelsea area toward, I guess, in the direction of Greystone, I guess the mountain area, at a high rate of speed, lights going. We don't know what's going on. I don't know. Maria called us in with those traffic situations closer to 459. I can't imagine Shelby County SO would be driving that fast going in that direction for that kind of incident. But she counted 4 of those cars all peeling out and going to something. So if we get any information on that, if you're out there in it and you see what's going on that part of 280, you are welcome to get in here and give us an update on it. We will be standing by here in the last few minutes of the show. Let me see. The rain chances for today didn't really bear out where I am. There was always this slight outside chance, and pretty dry for the rest of the week, which is pretty good news if you're trying to get that stuff done. We've got another report, too. Let me just chase a bunch of police news this afternoon. Something has gone down over in the Atlanta area. And let me see what this is. Now, this is an older story. there was a standoff earlier in Birmingham, and I thought maybe that had to do with this Shelby County activity. That looks disconnected. I saw our friends over at Fox 6 reporting this police standoff this afternoon. So we'll chase that for a little bit. It's hard for me to do it in real time, being right here in the middle of the show, but we'll look for it here, see if we can get you anything. Over in Atlanta, apparently there was some people were reporting it as a mass shooting. There's something called Maple Street. I know there's a sort of a restaurant chain called Maple Street, or I know if it's an actual Maple Street, but I haven't seen any other follow-up on that. That was about an hour ago when that information came across. So just keeping up with all the things this afternoon, a little bit of police activity in the area. Here is Tom on line 1. We'll go back to the phones. Appreciate all the calls tonight. Tom, what's on your mind, man?
Well, what's on my mind is I keep seeing on these national news reports how we're running out of ammunition.
Yeah, I mean, that started with the Wall Street Journal, and certain weapon systems they're saying we're just running low on because we used a bunch in the Iran theater.
Now, I'm not stupid, but somebody is damn so stupid if that is in fact true, and they're telling our enemy, don't worry, wait us out because we ain't got no bullets.
Well, it's twofold. I think there is people that are pro DOD in the defense industry. They're always making the case for more money. And here we are in a shooting situation where we've clearly depleted a lot of stocks. The other equation for us was we have these super sophisticated $1 million missiles, part of the Patriot system and other systems, and we're shooting down $400 drones with them. So we've got to come up with a more efficient way to attack drones with drones. And in fact, there was a story today out of a Huntsville company that's going to start manufacturing more drones for DOD out of Huntsville. It's going to result in jobs there. But anytime you're in a shooting war, you've got to replenish, and it doesn't happen overnight with those modern weapons. But we built up for World War II. We can build up for whatever's going on here.
Well, I've always been a fan, being in the Air Force, retired Air Force, of carpet bombing.
Yep.
And unlike AOC, it ain't got jack to do with the carpet, first off, okay? But I believe in that carpet bombing because they put a slug every inch of the area they're dropping that bomb in. And, yeah, it wipes out a lot of folks. Hey, y'all have a good week.
There is Tom with his analysis of the ballistic situation as it relates to Iran. I've got a dog that's a little over a year old, and she's still in favor of carpet bombing herself, mostly rug bombing. So we take this dog on the Western road trip, and she was so good in that tight, confined space of the motorhome. She pottied every time. We'd take her out in the morning. We'd take her out in the afternoon. She had one little accident. I get her back home. Every rug in the house has been hit. I mean, she should teach DOD about targeting. We're still working on it. The dog has some issues. Ox Foundation Solutions bringing you the show tonight. Speaking on things going on around the house, it is disruptive here because we got ongoing construction and trying to do some stuff and get it wrapped up by the end of summer. And when Ox comes, they've already been out to scope the project. When they come, they're going to do the encapsulation component of that. Thankfully, I don't have any other foundation issues. But like I've told y'all for years with these folks, this is the company I trust. These are the folks that know everything about everything when it comes to all of this stuff. Because issues with your foundation and your basements and your poured walls and your cinder block walls, they're all kind of interconnected. And it generally starts with moving water, erosion, which causes stress and cracks and shifts. And then the water breaks in, and then that causes mold and everything else that comes with it. So you can stop one, but you got to fix the damage to the other from time to time with your foundation. And it pays to be diligent and to look ahead and to be observant. Same thing with your roof. Look around for loose shingles or any kind of drips up in your attic. Once in a while, go around your house and look for weird cracks or sticky doors, or some of you have obvious situations where the house is slipping and you need those helical piers to be driven in to level out your house, or other situations that apply as well with water coming in, especially mold. This time of the year, you really can detect the presence of mold. Ox can handle all of it with the highly trained teams that really know how to get at it and get it done right. I'm going to be fascinated to see how they're going to get in this tiny crawl space to do this encapsulation, but they've got a plan for it, and all I got to do is stand back and stay out of the way. It is oxstrong.com. This is who I would also send to your house for anything you need underneath those floorboards, oxstrong.com. All right, let's get back at it. Birmingham Broker, they're downtown Birmingham. If you are going to be doing any kind of car trading anytime soon, for years I've recommended Birmingham Broker. I had an eye-opening experience. I guess it's probably 10 or 12 years ago with Birmingham Broker. I had a truck for sale. I needed a different truck, and I did my homework. I did all the blue book online searching. Man, was I off. I thought I had a good price. It was a decent price. I would have taken it. Craig and his team looked at my truck and said, we can get you $2,000 more, because they're not limited to just marketing around Birmingham. They know where trucks are valuable, what's moving where. and get more in contact with those markets. It's just a way more sophisticated system for unloading a car, and they're doing all the work for you. And so they took my truck. A couple of days later, it was sold. They sold my son's Jeep. He had to get rid of his Jeep when he went off to go live in the big city because he couldn't take his car with him. Boy, he cried that day. He didn't even cry when he left his old man, but he didn't want to leave his Jeep. I remember I tried to buy it back years later. Craig helped me track it down, but the buyer didn't want to sell it. But they're just good like that. They've handled deals for us. They just did our mama ride. Mama needed a third row seat, so we had to upgrade that vehicle. Man, the difference, true story, the difference in a wholesale price from a dealer and the retail price on that car was $8,000, if my memory serves. It's been a little over a year, I guess. That was the difference. I remember back in the day, wholesale versus retail was usually about $2,000, but prices have changed. Everything's changed. So that gap is huge. Don't go trade your car in and get that retail check. I mean, that wholesale check. You're just going to lose money. I'm not saying they're ripping you off. They know what they're doing. They're lowballing you and buying your car wholesale so they can turn around and sell it themselves. It's the game. I don't blame them. You don't have to do that, though. Sell it with Birmingham Broker, and then you're in great position to go to those same dealerships and haggle for, something new. It's bhambroker.com, bhambroker.com, downtown Birmingham on 4th Avenue South. Go see them and let them get that ride sold. Let me talk about this Nick Shirley again real quick, and then I'll move on to some other stuff as we're getting ready to wrap things up for the day. Boy, this show just flew by. But this kid, I don't even know how old he is. I think he's in his mid-20s. He set off a wave of fraud and corruption investigations in this country, in my estimate, being a former journalist, shaming the mainstream profession that is still called the mainstream media, whatever, legacy media, dinosaur media. They're just not doing this basic work anymore. I mean, I don't see it. And then granted, I don't sit around and watch local news anymore. And I'm not just blaming the reporters. The outlets themselves don't give they're cutting their staffs. They're not giving resources to real reporting and investigative work. But let's just look at the big networks. They could have done this reporting. They could have found these fraudsters in Minnesota. That has led to Democrat attorneys general jumping out in front of cameras, pretending they've been investigating all along like they did in California. It's led to them all covering for themselves because the guy just went out there and did the basic thing. He took a basic phone camera and asked a couple of basic questions, and it set off this firestorm. And he got harassed and chased. Yesterday, a video showed up where he was in Ceuta. That's this little province that's been invaded by these illegals, and they're illegally crossing into Spain from Morocco and other parts of Africa. And so we all know that story by now. There was a bum rush. They've come in and just started burning stuff and stealing stuff and wrecking the place. Some really want asylum. Some were sent there for whatever reason. But this has been an international incident that's still being watched. So this kid decides he's going to parachute into the middle of it and just do some reporting. Reporting, in my estimation, again, having done it professionally, and I dare say was pretty good at it, it's just about getting to the scene. My favorite thing was live coverage. I love to be right in the middle of whatever's going down with a live truck and describing it for people. Maybe I'm still a little like that in the commentary business, but you got to get there. You got to go to the actual location, and then you want to tell both sides. If there is both sides, you want to describe what's actually happening and report it. And that's what he did. So he goes into Ceuta with I literally think he only had a cell phone camera. And yesterday he got chased by one of these migrants with a knife, and they threw bricks at him and tried to stone him because, they're pretty much from the Stone Age anyway. And so all this got publicity, and he got on camera, and I think he was on the Laura Ingraham show last night. Here's my point. He was doing, even though I know he's got a perspective and an activist, the dude was doing basic, dangerous, go-to-the-scene journalism. When the immigrants were coming across the border from the Haitians that somehow wound up in Mexico. How the hell did that happen? So they wound up in Mexico by the thousands and then bum rushed our border at Eagle Pass. The only reporter down there was Bill Malusian for Fox. And I'm not giving Fox too much credit because they irritate me too with some of their one-dimensional reporting. But at least they had a crew there. He had a drone. We saw the images, and it's similar. Shirley's just doing what Fox did in that occasion. But does Fox have a reporter in Ceuta? Where any of the networks, did they send anybody to this international incident? No, it doesn't suit their narrative. They're too busy covering for Fauci this week to go do some journalism. The good part of that story is journalism will always be alive. Reporting, if you don't want to call it journalism, because that's a dated phrase anyway, but reporting from a scene is always necessary. Live is live. Events are events. And it's good to see that the upstarts out there that don't know any better are still out there actually trying to tell us what's going on. And in an age where the mainstream media has just failed us, especially with this exposure during COVID, we're seeing some real-time, brave stuff go down from people who are just trying to get questions answered. And I love it. I love this kid, man. Danny Knowles is with the Knowles Group. I was talking about the markets today. Lord have mercy. Dow finished up 900 points, 1.7%. NASDAQ setting records, S&P setting records. All of this on optimism that Iran's about to get mopped up and we're going to be done with that mess. So, but my man Danny, day in and day out, I tell you this every night, I chase headlines. I want to know why the markets are moving on what news, because I'm news-oriented. Danny is investment-oriented. He's a strategic planner, coach, investor, strategist, broker, whatever you want to label you want to put in there. Lifelong friend of mine. In a million years, when we were dumb little teenagers, I couldn't have imagined Danny and I would wind up where we are and still be friends and working together. But I'm happy to recommend him to you because I know these things about him, even though I don't understand his business and I can't give you financial advice. I know he's going to shoot straight with you. I know he's wildly experienced. He's got a great team around him, which are his young sons, or I guess they're getting in their 30s now, man. We're getting old. But this is a wonderful practice that's going to treat you right and give you a plan to get on track and stay on track with your money. We all need professional advice with that stuff. It's theknowlesgroup.com, N-O-L-E-S, theknowlesgroup.com. And if one of your investment strategies is having some physical gold or silver or platinum, my other advice for you is to go by after you see Danny and talk to Steve at Alabama Gold Refinery to diversify your assets. The two can go together. Talk to Danny about how much you should put into that. Steve is your good place to pick up these items in person, face-to-face, right there in the store, so that it's none of anybody's business. And there are actually some tax incentives for the timeless value that is tangible gold. It is Alabama Gold Refinery in Homewood, across from the big, tall Regions Tower, right there on 29th. Y'all go see Steve ahead of the holidays, and this is a good place where you can buy, you can sell, you can exchange anytime you want. It's always fair. It's alabamagoldrefinery.com. Time for me to get on out of here and make way for Breaking Bread. We will see y'all tomorrow.
Goodbye, AJ.